Filter MMA family. This is your boy BJ back with another video shot. Okay, so guys, I'm trying to piece things together here. Okay, this is what I'm trying to do. So I like to try to piece together things from fighters' social media of what's coming up and little blurps of things that I've heard. And what I have heard is that UFC is targeting Montana De La Rosa versus Paige Vanzant. Montana De La Rosa. So it looks like, if all of this is true, it looks like Montana De La Rosa has taken the call. It looks like De La Rosa has taken the call to fight Paige Vanzant. Because I told you guys, Montana De La Rosa ducks no smoke. Montana De La Rosa ducks no smoke. So it looks like, that this was a fight that Paige Vanzant decided to take. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure Paige Vanzant thinks that she can go in here and beat Montana De La Rosa. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, Paige is, ending her UFC, if she decides to end her UFC career. Ending her UFC career with a win over Montana De La Rosa, a ranked opponent, is solid. That's a solid, that's a solid way to finish your contract. Let me put it like that. That's a solid way to finish your contract. But, guys, fighting Paige Vanzant's take the people out of it. Let's take the person out of it, because y'all know I'm biased when it comes to De La Rosa. But let's take the people out of it. Let's look at the styles. Let's look at the style matchup. Okay. Paige Vanzant is a very crafty. She's a good striker with decent ground game. So Paige Vanzant is a decent striker with. She's a good striker with a decent ground game. So, with that being said, Paige can go in there and fight with you. Paige has kick. Paige don't knock people out with her hands. Paige got good kicks that she can land. She can land a good head kick that can knock you out. Jump and switch kick, whatever. Paige Vanzant throws a lot of kicks that could potentially knock you out. But the thing about Paige Vanzant, though, look at the fight with Rachel Ostovich. When Paige Vanzant fought Rachel Ostovich was able to get in the pocket and hit Paige Vanzant. And the reason I point this out is Paige don't have a lot of enough power to really keep somebody away from her. Now look at the Montana De La Rosa versus the Nadia Kassem fight. You know what I'm saying? When Montana the way she fought in that fight, which is why I don't see why she didn't fight that way against Andrea KGB. Something was going on with Montana De La Rosa, I'm telling you guys. But if Montana comes forward throwing those big shots like she did on Nadia Kassem, you know what I'm saying? I don't see Paige Vanzant with anything that's really gonna be able to keep Montana away from her if Montana comes forward like that. Now, if Montana wants to really test her striking like she did against KGB, now I don't think Paige is as good as a fighter as KGB, you know what I'm saying? But I feel as if, Montana, I feel like her striking is good enough to hang with somebody like Paige Vanzant. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, now Montana has a ways to go as far as her strike. Montana is a powerful striker. Now let's not get it twisted. Montana De La Rosa throws that right hand with a lot of power. She stumbled Rachel Ostovich with that right hand. You know what I'm saying? So Montana has a really good uppercut. She pumps a jab really well to keep the distance, and she has a good uppercut. You know what I'm saying? And she has a powerful right hand. You know what I'm saying? So, and we seen when in the fight with Rachel Ostovich that Paige Vanzant is open to the right hand. You know, so she's open to getting hit with that right hand, and Montana De La Rosa throws a really nice right hand. Now, if this fight were to go to the ground, now Paige looks like the type that's very squirrely on the ground. You know what I'm saying? She looks like a squirrely girl on the ground, like she can slip out of different positions and whatnot. But Montana De La Rosa is, as far as the strength advantage, as far as like strength, Montana De La Rosa is probably a lot stronger than Paige Vanzant. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a lot stronger than Paige. So I believe Montana De La Rosa would be able to do what she wanted to do to Paige on the ground. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like there's any answer on the ground from Paige Vanzant when it comes to someone that's as decorated of a grappler as Montana De La Rosa. Now, It's on the feet. It could be one of two ways. We can either see Paige Vanzant dominate Montana De La Rosa on the feet, or we could see Montana De La Rosa really. We could see if Montana De La Rosa has really improved on her striking since that KGB fight. I mean, now Montana De La Rosa's striking wasn't bad. It wasn't bad in the KGB fight. The thing about Montana is that she kind of gassed in that fight. What I'm saying? It was the failed takedown attempts. And I mean, well, not the failed takedown attempts. It was the failure to be able to hold KGB down. I feel like it gassed Montana De La Rosa halfway through the second round when she was trying to hold Paige Vanzant down. I mean, trying to hold Andrea KGB down, and she wasn't able to. So I feel like that, on the feet, it could be one of two ways. Like I said, Paige can either dominate Montana on the feet, because Paige has very awkward movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, Paige is good on the feet. She has very awkward movement. She has a good body kick. She throws a lot of kicks, and it can confuse, someone who isn't a seasoned a seasoned striker. And I wouldn't call Montana De La Rosa a seasoned striker, but Montana De La Rosa is a good fighter. She's a good, well-rounded fighter. You know what I'm saying? She does a lot of things well. She I wouldn't call her so much as a specialist. Her wrestling is really, really, really good. But we'll see what's to come of Montana De La Rosa. Now, for the bias part of it, guys, I'm picking Montana De La Rosa all day long because I like Montana De La Rosa. And the reason I like Montana De La Rosa is she tests herself. She's not afraid to test herself, and she goes out there and she goes balls to the wall. You know what I'm saying? In the fight with KGB, I felt like that was really a big learning lesson for De La Rosa, and that was a good opponent for her to go, because fighting in the UFC, you have to take those tests, and you have to take those risks, and you have to test yourself. And I felt like she was really testing her striking in the fight with KGB. You know what I'm saying? I felt she was really pushing her striking to the limit as far as KGB, trying to figure, because KGB is good in Muay Thai background. She's a very good striker. And the positives from Montana De La Rosa's striking in that fight that I take from it is, coming out in the second round, Montana De La Rosa was throwing a lot of power. Like, the power of De La Rosa, is something that has went unnoticed even by me. My eyes was open from her power when she dropped Rachel Ostovich. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm somebody who focuses a lot on Montana De La Rosa. The masses, on the other hand, that's something that has went unnoticed by them. Montana De La Rosa, she's got power. You know what I'm saying? She's one of the few girls at flyweight who actually has power in her hands. So we'll see, guys. We'll see how this fight plays out. I'm excited to see it. If this is the fight that I'm hearing about, I'm excited to see it because, for one, if Paige Vanzant can get a win over Montana De La Rosa, does Paige Vanzant stay in the division? Or does Montana De La Rosa, even though she's only lost one fight in the UFC, another loss for De La Rosa could put her as like a gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if you beat Montana De La Rosa, then you can fight a top 5 opponent or a top 10 opponent if you get a win over De La Rosa. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want Montana to be in that type of position, like kind of where Lena Landsberg is at. Winning some, losing some, winning some, losing some. I'm not, I don't think she'll be in that type of scenario because, you know what I'm saying, I feel like De La Rosa has a lot of skills. She has a lot of skills that could prove, being that there's a lot of specialists at 125. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of specialists at 125, including Jillian Robertson. You know what I'm saying? As much as I roll with Jillian Robertson is a specialist. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist. So, I don't want Montana. And the reason I like Montana is because Montana brings a well-rounded game into that division. And to me, that's what you have to be. That's what you have to be in order to go in there with somebody like Valentina Shevchenko. You have to be able to do it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's the key to beating Valentina. A specialist, I don't feel, unless you're really, really good at what your specialty is, You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like that's the fighter that's going to beat Valentina Shevchenko. I feel like a well-rounded fighter is going to be the type that's going to be able to go in here, that's going to be able to strike with Valentina. And if Valentina decides to take you down, then you know what to do on the ground with someone like Valentina. Because Valentina has a very heavy top game. She's good on the ground. You know, it is what it is. Her striking is impeccable. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what goes down if they make the Paige Vanzant and Montana De La Rosa fight. This is your boy BJ back from No Filter MMA. Drop those comments in the comment section. Hit that like button. Hit that dislike button. And if you have not already, hit the subscribe button. And I'm out.